Hey, hey,
What's up, Buddha?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing, Dave?
I'm cool. I'm just chilling.
Yeah, I just
Doing my
listen to you, man. What you say?
yeah. I was just doing some cleaning, doing my laundry, and just cleaning up around here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I definitely would like to go in on and go in with you on what you were saying in the voicemail. Definitely.
Yeah, man. That tripped me out when I saw that, and when I saw that, I'm like, it makes total sense. I mean, it makes total sense because I don't want to say too much right now, but I'll just say this. That has everything to do with the whole knowledge thing and how it clashes, and because of knowledge, we're caught in contradiction and we're caught in hypocrisy and stuff like that. But when I saw that in our nature, I'm like, wait a minute, this is in our nature. Because we have opposing sides. One that says one thing, and another side of ourselves that says something else. So we're created in, you might as well say, conflict. And so that's why you have to understand the balance, because you can't just lean totally on one side or the other and be complete. Because even if you're all good, you're self-destructive. And if you are all bad, you're self-destructive. Because on either side, if you don't have the other one, that other nature, and that gives balance, then you're going to eventually destroy yourself.
Yeah.
And it brought me to that movie that I want. There's a movie that I want you to upload. I think I told you about this a while back. It's called Legend. And it's
I know what you're talking about. Who's starring that?
Tom Cruise had starred in this. This is one of his older movies. I think he did this back in the 80s.
Okay.
But there's a big devil in this movie, right? I don't know if you've ever seen it, but at the end of the movie, when Tom Cruise's character was fighting him, he had forced him into this real big vacuum thing, and this demon started being sucked out, and he was getting ready to be sucked into this dark dimension, and as he was being sucked into it, he was calling on Satan. And this is why I try to tell people all the time that you've got the devil and you've got Satan, just like you've got Yeshua and just like you've got the Creator. I mean, it makes total sense, you know, but all at the same time, when you got Satan, Satan was created by the Creator as well. You know, because this thing was supposedly created all things, but we'll deal with that too. But in the movie, he says, "Father, protect me." And so as he's getting sucked out into this dark dimension, he looks at Tom Cruise's character. He said, "You think you have won." He said, "What is light without dark?" He said, "Who are you without me?" He said, "I am a part of you all." He said, "You can never defeat me. We are brothers eternal." And when I first heard that, I stood up because I was watching it with my mother. I stood up, and she said, "What's the matter?" I said, "Did you hear what he just said?" Because it was this is when the VHSs was out, and we had rented that movie. I said, "Did you hear what he said?" She said, "Yeah." No. I ran it back. I said, "Mama, pay attention to what he said." He said, "You think you have won." Then he says, "What is light without dark? Who are you without me? I am a part of you all. You can never defeat me. We are brothers eternal. I'm like, you really need to think about that. I said, because what he's saying is actually a fact. That is a fact, man. Religion has lied.
Yeah.
And then you go to the Garden of Gethsemane. I don't want to talk about this too much because I really want to go in on this tonight. But then you think about the Garden of Gethsemane when Yeshua was in the Garden of Gethsemane and he was afraid. Therefore, he was in conflict. And he said, not my will, but thine will be done. See, that meant that his will was in opposition to the Creator's will. There's the duality again. And so once he faced fear and understood the effects of fear and what fear was, he found the balance, and only when he found that balance was he able to move forward. And then you look at religion, and religion wants to separate those two entities. You can't separate those two entities because they were both created by the same Creator.
Right, yeah.
What you have to understand, what the primary question is, why? Why would you create these two active entities sitting up in human nature? This is sitting up in our nature. And then when we live our lives and we don't master this thing, we got to burn in hell? It's just a trip. When I saw that, I'm like, okay, so now this stuff, this is created. And so no wonder we deal with contradiction and hypocrisy, because we are a manifestation of those two. We are a manifestation of hypocrisy and contradiction, because the way that our nature is created, it clashes into itself. And so once religion comes in and separates everything, that's when the hypocrisy comes and all of that. But if you accept both natures, like I have, that's why I tell people I'm evil, but I'm a necessary evil. If you look at those natures and you master those natures, and you admit that, hey, both of those is who I am. I'm both of those. It all depends on how you, like I was saying in another conversation we had, it all depends on how you decide to utilize who and what you are. But like I say, I don't want to get too deep into it right now.
Right.
But that tripped me out when that was shown to me. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, man. But what I saw in meditation that night was really it was amazing, because, like I say, I know I deal with this a whole lot, but I'm just trying to find out how we were created fundamentally, and why we struggle with ourselves. What is it that is inside of us to make us feel as though we're struggling with ourselves? That's because both of those entities are actually who and what we are. That's where the struggle comes from. You know, we have these different ideas and theories and conclusions on how we want to be, and therefore we're not satisfied with how we are and what we are. You know, and most of that comes from the fact that we don't really know what we are and what we are pretty much made up of, what we actually consist of, because we've been miseducated by being educated. You know.
So that's why being educated, you're right.
Mm-hmm. So when I saw that, the duality, and I'm like, why is the Creator always showing me about this duality and conflict and stuff like that? And then hypocrisy and contradiction came up, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is in our nature. It's in our nature to be this way.
Yup.
Because I know there are times to where you find yourself being hypocritical, you find yourself contradicting, and it's not that you do it intentionally. You just find yourself doing it because of the misinformation and the misunderstanding that we get from certain things, because as you go forward, you learn more and more and more, and then you feel like you got this concluded on, and then when something else comes, and that something else says something in opposition of what you thought you knew, and then you find yourself in a state of contradiction. And then you try to walk that way, and you try to live that way, and you try to communicate that way. You just try to be that way. And then sometimes when you don't reach that basic understanding of what you get from that previous conclusion, you find yourself being hypocritical. And then you say, well, why is it that no matter how hard I try to be a certain way, or no matter how much I think that I've made it to be a certain way, when an event presents itself, it shows me otherwise? And I find myself always in conflict. And most of that comes from the general idea of how we want to be, and instead of accepting ourselves for who we are, we have to throw all these ideas and wants and expectations that we have for ourselves. We have to throw all that stuff away. We have to throw it all away and look at exactly what we are, and even how we grow. And, not that we grow, but how we grow individually.
You're right.
And sometimes I found out even within myself, right, when you think you actually growing, you're really not growing at all. You're in the state of stagnation, and sometimes it's really not stagnation at all. It's just you're in a state to where you have to you have to be stilled at that certain point in order to actually get the very meaning of that present status that you're in, so that when you do grow and move forward, you might as well say that it'll be better understood. I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah, I get where you're going with this.
It'll make better sense.
I don't expect you to have everything figured out, because you did. Neither one of us will be where we are. So you just a student too. We just striving to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it tripped me out when I saw that, and I'm like, so wait a minute, you created, because then you have to sit back and you have to look at all of this, all of these activating, you might as well say, forces. I don't even like to use the word energy too much, because too many of these niggas use it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, just like the word God or Spirit, I hate using those words, because too many people have been corrupting those words.
Mm-hmm. And then you stand back, or you sit back internally, and you look at all of these things that are activating, and it seems like they all have an independent purpose, and even though they are all there for one purpose, they all seem to be in opposition to one another, but all at the same time, they are all there for one reason. you know? And I'm like, I'm looking at all of this. I said, you know, now, you created all of this. And so why did you create all of this to put this inside of us?
Right.
And you know, I didn't really have this kind of insight before my accident. So, you know, the further that I'm going, I'm starting to realize the primary reason of why that accident had to happen. It absolutely had to happen. Because I know that I've been different ever since, but I also feel myself slowly going back to my the way that I used to be when I was a whole lot more humble. And what I have noticed about myself is that I'm starting to use a lot less profanity.
Oh, yeah. But I understand why you started using it. You was angry. And you still are angry. And there ain't nothing wrong as long as you eventually heal from that, you know, because I'm angry in many ways about things. And I'm not going to we ain't going to deny that aspect of ourselves no more.
No, we can't, because anger is a reality.
Because a lot of times, I know you feel this way. A lot of times I feel like, you know, God is a so-called God or whatever people want to call that entity as like kind of almost forsaken us or abandoned us.
Yeah. I feel abandoned all the time. You know, and it's a trip because it's a trip because you feel like you in a real abusive relationship. And the reason why I say it like that is because it reminds me of when I was with Tammy. It's like you in the same household, you got a woman, but you don't. You know, so you're in a person's presence, but you are rejected and neglected, and you feel abandoned. You know, because I look around, that's like when I walked outside today. Today was such a beautiful day. You know, the sky was beautiful, and, you know, it had like a steady, beautiful, nice, cool wind blowing. You know, it wasn't a cold wind, but the wind was very pleasant, you know. And I'm looking at how beautiful the mountains was looking and everything, and I'm like, wow, you know, this is beautiful. But still in all, I'm still angry at you. You know, I'm still, I don't get it. You know, why are you showing me all of this and I'm not where I need to be in life? I really don't get it.
You know, I know you struggle with this too, man. It's like, you know, Dave, I know you know, you probably do. You know, I know every day when you walk around, you feel like you're the best, don't you? And it's like what's sad and what keeps us people like us in a depressed state is knowing even though we are the best, we can't be the best because of our circumstances and a lot of other things that's beyond our control. That's like Superman knowing he can fly, but yet he can't fly, or something's stopping him from flying. It's like all the engine, you feel like you're gonna implode because you don't have your full access to it. And it's like, to me, I feel like God is like the worst recruiter ever. He give you all these abilities and then he take them away from you, or he put the wrong people in your element to where you really can't even use them. So like, what's the point of recruiting people to your cause or whatever? Because you want to be able to say, oh, look what God did for me or whatever, but it's like you can't really say that. And you have people who people who don't even acknowledge God or try to be righteous. They just like go from one success to the other. And they don't even. I'm like the creator. I'm like, well, you know, what kind of God or energy or process are these people dealing with? Because they don't acknowledge no God or whatever. I ain't talking about in the religious sense. It's like they just do whatever they want. You know, they don't care about people. They treat people in any kind of way. It's like they go from one thing to the next. And everything I'm telling you stuff I'm dealing with every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, you have a God. To me, this God hates himself.
Yeah.
Sometimes I even feel like, I mean, if I was running this universe, I'd be able to do a better job than whatever the so-called God is here. Because to me, this God's hell.
Yep. It seems like it just doesn't give a damn about nothing and nobody.
Nope. Or at least not about the right people.
And then, like I was saying not too long ago, Then you're down here with these white folks. And they are always in the way. They always make things so complicated. I mean, it is so many people who are dead right now who never had a chance to fully express their gifts or even halfway express their gifts. Most people who are dead right now never even had a chance to get to know their gifts. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, like I was telling my godmom, like, man, that's really the main thing I fear in life is not being able, not living up to my full potential and fully doing what I came here to do.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's worse than anything.
And you know, let's deal with potential for a minute.
Okay.
When I was talking to JT. This was years ago.
You talking about Riley?
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and him had a discussion because he used the word potential a whole lot. And I asked JT, I said, JT, do you know what potential is? He said, yeah, man, that's my gift. That's my gift. I said, no, you have to look deeper into it. He said, well, what is potential to you? I'm like, no, I can't tell you what it is to me. I said, but I can tell you what it is. He said, oh, okay, I get it. I said, look, potential is, it's a pure living force. So you might as well say it's a pure energy, and it doesn't have a circumference around it. But it's a pure energy, and it has a strong will inside of it, and it has an immense intelligence inside of it. But it doesn't hold a knowledge. He said, what's the difference between knowledge and intelligence? I said, intelligence is a state of being to where if it's utilized in any direction, it's going to be able to articulate and have insight into what it's experiencing. I said, so actually intelligence is really not that much of a distinction than wisdom. Wisdom and intelligence are actually brothers.
That's what I would say. You know, 'cause I know a lot of people who have a strong intellect, but they're not intelligent. You know, I agree with that. You know, because I know a lot of brilliant people, but they're stupid. So you're right. And I too equate intelligence to how wise you are.
Yeah.
You know, just like a lot of our grandparents, they didn't know how to read or write, but they were some of the most wisest people that on the earth, you know. So it's like,
absolutely.
Whereas, you know, a lot of people who know how to read and write are stupid and reject. So it's like there's a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, you know, like you said, knowledge is just information, just something that you can accumulate. Whereas intelligence or wisdom is knowing how to use that knowledge and information to get to where you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. And so I was telling him, I said, so potential is, you might as well say energy or and a powerful living force that has not yet been realized as far as what is going to be utilized for. I said, so the realization is us realizing what our purpose is, and once we realize what our purpose is and we act on it, then that living energy, you might as well say, entity or energy or living force that was potential is no longer potential, now is action.
That's powerful.
And, you know, that blew his mind because he said, you know, I never saw it like that. He said, how did you find that out? I said, I found that out through meditation. And that was shown to me. You know, I said, so it's not something that I knew. This is something that I found out. This is something I found out myself. It's just that when you are created, and I don't think I've ever told you this, but this is the real core of my suffering. When you know that you were created naturally intelligent, naturally wise, smart, anything that your mind is exposed to, you just seem to know about it. I mean, I'm able to talk to anybody, Josh. As long as they speak English, I can pretty much communicate with people.
Right.
And Edward David didn't tell me actually for the first 4 days when I was over in India that he was actually experimenting with me, because he took me around, and you remember when I was telling you he took me around and had me talk to a lot of gurus and religious scholars and philosophers and stuff, and one of the gurus told me that you have a twin.
Yeah, I think I do remember you telling me this story back in the day.
Mm-hmm. And I said, I have a twin, you know, and he says, yes, you have a twin, and his name is Jiddu Krishnamurti. And see, and Krishnamurti, he wasn't educated book-wise, you know. I mean, it's like if you know how to read and count, you're educated. But as far as what was shown to him, that was just through observation and you know, and insight, you might as well say, insight. But when you have all of this living inside of you, you're highly, I put it like this, you're intelligent, because he's saying saying that you're highly intelligent, you put a measurement on it. So we got to not deal with measurements, because that's what white folks have done.
Yeah, and if the white man can't quantify, he kill it. You're right.
You know,
and quantify mean and measure.
Mm-hmm. And that's how he comes up with this ridiculous word that they use called genius. You're a genius. Why? Because you say so?
You're right. You're definitely right about that.
You know, so they have a measurement that they established, or like Malcolm said, they have a yardstick that they established, and if you reach from the beginning to the end of that yardstick, then they say that you are a genius, and you standing there with this big old smile on your face. I'm a genius. You was born a genius. As a matter of fact, the reason why you were able to reach and fulfill their measurement is because you're actually beyond their measurement. You're actually beyond it. But when you are walking around with all of this on the inside, and you can't utilize it, and nothing in your life is happening so that you will be able to express it, that's torture.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the root of my everyday life. And then when my mind reflects back to my upbringing, all of my life, I've never had any support, you know, and I didn't come to really realize that until like 3 days ago. My parents wasn't any type of support. There wasn't any type of support. If I would had been able legally to drop out of grammar school, they wouldn't have cared. You know, and it's like I was a highly gifted kid, and they didn't see it because they didn't care. And I look at my life right now, and it's not pointing the finger or anything, but I do know Huh?
You just saying exactly what it is, man. You know, you ain't going no victim. I know you ain't no victim. You just saying the truth as it is. They have in many ways stifled you.
Yeah, they did. They did. And that's why I tell people, considering everything, just like I was telling Dana, considering everything that I've been through in my life, everything that I know, I've been through all of these different relationships and all of that. I've done pretty much everything that I could possibly do when it comes to women, and everything blows up in my face. Everything always blows up in my face. Now, I was a good son to my parents. I was a good brother to my sister. None of them ever gave a damn about me. I come out here and I built my own family. That blows up in my face. I have relationships. Can't nobody keep their legs closed. I go to the jobs. I deal with a whole bunch of racism. I know celebrities. I can't get any assistance because I feel like it's just a whole lot of things that I feel like the Creator gave me a real raw deal when it comes to gave me some messed up parents. I mean, the whole family was just jacked up.
Yeah.
It was just a whole bunch of niggas living in one house. That's it. And everything that I've come to know in life, I pretty much educated myself. I mean, you would think that, and I've heard this from a whole lot of men, and they don't necessarily say this because, you know, it's not that they gay or anything, but a lot of men have told me, you know, a real nice looking man like you, I just don't understand how come you can't keep any women. You know, you're very nice looking man, you're very intelligent, you're very wise, you always make good money. I live beautifully. I always have beautiful places. I'm always my places are always clean. That's just like I was doing some cleaning today. I like a clean, real nice, plush, beautiful place. That's just like this place that Eddie Murphy had in Boomerang. That he had Robin Gibbons come over to his place. That's exactly the way I live. You know, women, you know, they attracted to me and all of that, but I just don't get it no more, man. I just don't get it. You know, what is it about me that is so, I can understand that I'm different or unique or eccentric. It's just that I just feels like that everything in my life that was given to me just
taken away.
It's just taken away, and everything is always blocked. You know,
it was kind of like that conversation. You remember that conversation I sent you a few months ago with me and Coco? I had you listen to. I was lamenting to him about the same thing you was saying when you listened to it, that he really couldn't give me no answers. Mm-hmm. But that's basically what you're saying was how I was feeling, you know, in regards to growing up in school and high school, just talking to women on the phone or hanging out or whatever. And for some reason, 9 times out of 10, they would just start acting weird or whatever. I'm like, you know, that used to bother me, man. You know, why? Like, what's the cause of this? I'm not trying to, you know, do anything weird. I'm not weird. I ain't trying to, you know, knock them off or whatever. It's like, why is this suffering in my life? So I definitely empathize with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I may not have gotten to the sex part or whatever, but I definitely understand where you're coming from.
It's just I'm thinking about corporate people now. You know, it's like everybody, you know, certain people get positions, and then all of a sudden their head gets big, and it seems like everybody want to be Shaka Zulu then. You know, everybody around them, they want everybody to bow to them and all of that. I mean, even in the most simplest places, even if you were damn McDonald's manager, You know, and that's why I just want to get out of the system. I just don't want to be bothered with all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Because this system don't do anything but create a bunch of monsters, and people feel as though they have to be monsters even in order to maintain their position. And some people really don't mean any harm. There are some people out there who really don't mean to do people any harm. It's just that they are at a point in their life to where they absolutely feel as though they need a security, because there's really no such thing as security.
That's the illusion right there.
Yeah, so we've been miseducated even in that sense.
Just like, there is an illusion that there's such a thing as a self-made man or woman. That's not true either. A lot of things we say and believe is not true, but we already know that. Man, like these conversations that we have sometimes, my mom be visualizing like me and you like sitting like on a panel, and we just going back and forth at a table, just discussing these things, and like on TV or whatever, and then then they record it, and other people get to watch it.
Actually, that's exactly what I want to do. Just like those discussions Jiddu Krishnamurti had with Dr. Alan Anderson. That's exactly what I would love to do. I would love to do that with some pastors. To help them understand the man's message better. Or just go back and forth and just talk about life in general. Because that's pretty much all we do anyway. Me and Talik was talking about doing that, but even while I was talking about doing that with him, I know that's not going to happen. Because he's still caught up in that Malcolm and Elijah Muhammad stuff. He's still in that mindset, and I don't really ever see him coming out of it. And, considering everything that I've been through when it comes to women, as much as I would love to have a real meaningful relationship, I really don't think that I can have that anymore because I'm just exhausted. I'm exhausted, and most women today, even the nice ones, she wouldn't understand me because I would seem to be cold on the inside and non-responsive, because there's a woman who wants to date me. She's been wanting to date me for a long time. Her name is Patricia. It's another Patricia.
Stay away from those Patricias.
Yeah, and I always tell her, I say, okay, well, I'm gonna call you tomorrow. And when tomorrow gets here and she crosses my mind, I'm like, the hell with her. It's like I go back and forth. It's just that I'm tired.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be bothered, I just don't have time for it. And, and I've gotten to the point to where, is it that I don't have time for it, or is it I just don't want it no more?
Yeah, man. That's some meditating you got to do on that. I love to hear what comes up. It's like you're in a state of wanting to move but not wanting to move. Cause you you go.
I think I pretty much already know what it is. It's just that as cold as it may sound, and I think I've said this before, to me, women are only good for one thing.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
because I've done practically everything that you can do with a woman, and it just doesn't work for me. And so I even asked the Creator, well, why is it like this when it comes to women for me? And due to the fact that I have 2 sons, what was that all about? You know, and then I get around Tammy, and Tammy treats me very lovingly and all of that. But look at what the situation is now. You know, sometimes I would rather us, you know, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I wish that me and her was constantly into it and just don't speak.
Why?
Because it seems like that would be a little bit more normal. Because she put us in a position to where I come around, I talk with her, and I talk with Deshaun and Dylan. We all sit in the living room, look at TV for hours, and talk and laugh and have fun. And then, you know, like a family, and we eat together, and she fixes my plate. And then when all that's over, I got to go home.
Yeah, that's kind of tragic.
Yeah.
So, like you said, it'd kind of be better if y'all did argue. I see why you say that now. Because at least if y'all argue, at least you can, stay. Because it sounds like to me, like what y'all doing is like a married family, but then you're reminded at the end that y'all ain't married and your family's in shambles.
Right.
So it's like, it's like you're getting gutted.
Every time.
Man, that's a sad reality, man. That's definitely that's sombering.
Yeah, and up on top of that, you have parents that ain't nothing. You got sisters that ain't nothing. And like I say, and you walking around with all of this on the inside, and you can't utilize it. You know, no doors are opening up for you in areas that would put you on a path to where you actually want to help the world become a better place. And it seems like all the doors are closed. And then you ask the Creator, well, what the hell you got me down here for then? And you remember not too long ago when me and you was talking about sometimes we imagine ourselves as performers.
Yeah, I remember that conversation a few weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, and we have the people out there who we feel don't really appreciate us, looking up at us, admiring us. It all comes from a lack of appreciation, lack of love and appreciation.
Yeah. So, even when I'm thinking about a woman a lot of times, that's what I'm thinking about, her telling me how great I am, how I'm not like these niggas out here and stuff like that, man, so I definitely understand, we just deserve to be appreciated. We make the world go round. Cause I feel like this, man, every day. When I wake, I feel like I am heaven, but I'm going through hell, man. And it's like, why? If you on that frequency every day, you was born on that frequency, and you still maintain that, it's like, why? Why so much suffering? You can't give heaven to other people because other people will ruin it, or sometimes circumstances take you from those people. It's like, why?
Right.
Like I say, man, to me, God is the worst recruiter in history. He just like, whatever God there is, don't want people on his team because he always messing this stuff up.
Right.
Because more and more, I'm like, man, I'll look at my circumstance, like, to me, being righteous ain't really, what do you have to show for it?
Right. That's why when I was listening to y'all conversation, I said, shoot, this sounds like the same conversations we have. Like we say, what's the point of being righteous?
Yeah.
You don't get anything out of it.
Cause if I can go back, like if I could rewind these 27 years, I would be a whole lot different than I am. Just like I was telling her, man, I was like, you know, I could have been a millionaire a long time ago if I would have sold porn or something like that on the internet. There's all types of ways, and I had the chance to do that, but I don't want to, cause that ain't in my heart, and I don't look at the crap anyway. So it's like, man, well, it would have helped me have quote unquote millions or whatever. It's like, what's the point? You know, why even be righteous? I know a lot of people who do that type of stuff, man. They cleaning up, man. But I was like, I don't know, man. Or they scam people, or they often do all types of stuff, man. They on top, and I don't see them coming down. Like, man, what's the point, man? You know, a lot of times I question, like, if the decisions I made was the right ones. I want to think that, but, man, it's like, well, dang, well, God, so-called God, was they the right decision? Well, come ain't got nothing, a little to show for it. And people, well, you got character, you got strong character, what the hell with that? God has you in his hands. Well, to me, it seems like being in God's hands is a suffering.
It seems like to me, I'm under his foot.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he got his foot on my back and said, "Nah, nigga, you ain't going nowhere. I ain't gonna let you do nothing. I'm gonna give you all of this. I'm gonna put all this in you, but I ain't gonna let you do a damn thing." You know what I'm saying?
You're a trip, man, the way you say.
I mean, that's just like say if Tony came over here and she said, "David, I'm gonna spend the night with you. I'm gonna sleep in your bed next to you, butt naked, but you can't fuck."
Right.
I would tell Tony, "Well, you gotta go." She nope. I'm staying right here, and I know you want me, but I'm gonna lay right here, and I'm gonna be butt naked, and I'm gonna let you look, but you can't touch. I mean, it's a trip. And so I've just gotten to the point to where, like I say, I'm just going to have a bunch of women that I sleep with.
Yeah.
Until they branch off and get themselves some husbands, then they'll be in my life. Until one of them come to me and say, "Well, David, I just want you to know that I met somebody, and so I'm just going to give it a try with him." Okay, well, take care. And right, just like that. Yep, just like that. You know, because Carmen called me last night. She said, "I'm sorry I haven't called you in a few days. I've just been busy. I'm trying to find." She says she's trying to move out of the apartment that she's in. She's trying to find another place. I said, "Well, Carmen, it ain't no big deal. Just get in touch with me whenever you get settled in somewhere. It don't matter. I'll talk to you later." That was it. "Sorry I haven't called you in a few days." What the hell are you apologizing for? I don't care.
Right.
Handle your business. And see, my life is as a writer. To me, that's the perfect life for me.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a life of peace and serenity. And travel.
Yeah, because all I do is write, travel, and collect royalties. That's it. You look at your royalties every 90 days, and you see how your money is piling up. You know, you have all of these books going out, you know, because I even know how many books I want to put out every year. I want to put out at least three books every year. And have all of those books circulating, bringing in wealth. And don't spend it while you get it. You know, it has to accumulate. You have to live simple for a little while.
Yeah, delayed gratification.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's a trip, you know, because, you know, going back to spending time with them, you know, I have a nice time when I'm over there, but every time I leave, it saddens me, and I hate her sometimes, you know.
Because, like, why you mess with something that could have been so beautiful?
Yeah. And every time I turn around, somebody's in her ear. Stephanie said this, Stephanie said that, and this. I asked Stephanie, Stephanie said, she always has somebody in her ear, always. Always. It is always somebody in Tabby's ear. And that's one thing I used to hate about her. I used to tell her, when are you going to start thinking for yourself? Every time I turn around, you listening to somebody else. Yeah, it's a trip. But, you know, I've gotten to the point to where I do know that women are the women that I deal with are gonna have men. That's just the way it's gonna be, you know, because I'm not gonna commit myself to anybody because I've been through that already.
Right.
You know, a lot of people say, well, that's a very dangerous way to live. No, it's not really dangerous for me. It may be, you know, kind of dangerous for them. I'm just going to be living my life. Now, if somebody comes to my door and asks me about their woman, I'm just going to say, well, hey, yeah, we see each other sometimes, but if that's your woman, take your girl and go. I just want you to know that me and her are together. And all right, well, go home and remind her that you and her are together. I don't have nothing to do with that. Well, what do you and her? You two have a relationship? Not at all. I don't have relationships with women, and it's going to be hard for a lot of women to even catch up with me because I'm a traveling type dude.
Right.
Because like I say, when I saw that. All of that duality and all of that those conflicting things, and yet and still they all are there for a purpose. And I'm like, the only purpose that I'm seeing here is conflict. That's all I'm looking at. Conflict and disorder. And we have to figure all of this out and see how it comes together and how it works, and that's the balance. And then you say, well, why is it that we got to figure every damn thing out? Like I was saying in one of our conversations, why is it that you have to be knee-deep in something already to get it? You get it now? Yeah, but I'm stuck in this now. It's like you're not prepared for anything. You know, you're just thrown into it. You're just thrown into it. And then you spend the majority of your life thinking that you got it figured out. And then you look around. You really don't have too much figured out.
Yeah. Because if you had something figured out, you wouldn't be where you are.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then it's like you ask that question, but then you see the people who are living the life they have or whatever, and they ain't thinking at all like how we thinking or moving how we think. It's like, well, dang, well, it's like, well, what's the point of having, like, once again, what's the point of having all this insight? You can't be who live it the way you want. Then these people who don't even want anything, they don't want to be in touch with the Creator or want to do right. They have everything.
Yeah. And these people can't even hold a damn intelligent conversation with you.
Nope.
However, when you look at those people's family, they have a family structure. That's one thing I noticed. At least they have a family structure. I'm not saying all of them do, but most of them actually do. When I was looking at that movie, NWA, even though Dr. Dre's dad wasn't around, at least he had a mother.
Yeah.
That was trying to tell him to be productive. My mother didn't tell me nothing. It's like that message I shared with you when I told her. I said, you and Daddy are the worst parents anybody could ever have. You are absolutely the worst parents that anybody can have. Because they have done absolutely nothing. They have done nothing.
Right.
Now, you gave birth to a brilliant child. Brilliant child, to where we all would be sitting up on a mountain of money. I mean, on a mountain of money. I can write, I can direct. I've got a good ear and for soundtrack music and where it should be in areas like that. I'm phenomenal when it comes to film, sound, scenery, writing, just phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Just big time phenomenal. And I have a beautiful ear for music and voice tones and stuff like that. I mean, if I would have got into film, you would see my name in just about in a whole lot of credits. You'd be like, damn, who is this dude, David Anthony Brayborn? I see his name everywhere. Because I would be in so many different areas of film and writing and stuff like that. I would know so many celebrities, so many people would be calling on me. But you have to have some type of family structure. You need that encouragement. You need that solid family foundation. You need to have a home, a place to where you can call home, to where when you go out for a little while and things get too rough, you call your mom, look, I'm just gonna come home for a little while. Can't do that. You have absolutely nowhere to go. Because your parents ain't shit. Your sister screwed up, turned everybody in your family against you, so where can you go? Can't go nowhere. Tammy couldn't keep her legs closed, so my family out here is messed up. And yet and still, I'm nice to everybody and, you know, and all of that. And sometimes I look at myself like, you a damn fool.
Yeah.
And sometimes I step outside of myself and I look at myself and I'm like, you know, I feel real bad for that dude because he's a nice man. And look at his life, you know. He still comes around. He still respects people. And what is he looking for? What does he want, you know? Because the only thing I get when I go over there is a bunch of pain. That's all I get. you know, Tammy and her generosity and her loving attitude towards me, I'm like, you bitch, how come you couldn't be this way when we was together?
Right.
And you look at her attitude, that's the way it is. That's the way life is, as far as she's concerned, because that's the way life was with her mother and people before her. But despite all of that, by her knowing better, she still chose to be the way she is today.
Right.
And so that's what really got me meditating, because I need to know, well, what is this all about? You know, what am I here for? Because I'm not going to live the rest of my life like this. And if I'm supposed to live like this until I croak, why? What's the purpose? Why did I do all of this writing? Was it a waste? You know, and if it wasn't a waste, what was I supposed to do with it? And if it was a waste, what else was I supposed to be doing if I wasn't supposed to be writing? You know, those are kind of questions that run through my mind a whole lot.
I mean, I bet you don't even get no real answers to those questions, do you?
I mean, I can't even look at a movie anymore without observing it, camera angles and listening to the dialogue and all of that. You know, I can't even watch a movie like a normal person anymore. I'm always, you know, and sometimes I wish my brain could just shut down. Just look at the movie, just enjoy it. Because all of that stuff, I don't really see how any of that's going to manifest. Because, like I say, I know all of these people and stuff, but nothing's happening. So, what's the point? And then I download a lot of documentaries because I want to study the pattern of people's lives. Now here it is, Bernie Mac. Okay, got a documentary on him. He's poor. He come up struggling. He's talked about because of his looks. He starts cracking jokes and stuff like that. He gets married, have a daughter and stuff. He loses his job at General Motors. Him and his wife struggle. He goes through clubs, you know. He becomes a comedian. He becomes a famous comedian, get his own show, gets to the top of the world, and he gets sick and dies.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what the hell is that all about? And then you look at Bruce Lee, at the top of his world, gone. Jimi Hendrix, gone. John Belushi, gone. Aaliyah, gone. Like, what? Here it is, Eartha Kitt. I've been studying Eartha Kitt lately. She grew up on a plantation. She suffered a lot of abuse. She got out of it. Became a big-time singer and movie star and everything. Has a daughter, you know, marriage and stuff didn't work out. You know, she lived with a whole lot of pain, but she became famous, and right when she gets to the top of her career, she catches cancers and starts to die.
Man.
Like, what the fuck is this? A fucking joke? You know what I'm saying?
You thinking it's some type of opera or something.
And then I wonder, well, hell, maybe maybe I'm lucky.
But to hell with that, man. I'd rather be successful than go out than not be successful and live a long time.
Right. And suffer.
Shoot, if you're going to suffer, at least suffer in style.
Mm-hmm. Don't die in no hospital. Die at home in your house.
Yeah.